All right, we have Dr. Arjun Raina in the house. Let's give a huge shout out to Arjun, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right, so just to give a gist about Sir, he has a huge span of work that he has done. So I'll give a gist about what all Sir has done for the listeners per se. So Dr. Arjun Raina started voice and accent training in India, creating learning
Hello.
modules, train the trainers, HR tools, and as a foundational coach for the voice and accent industry, he sustained contractual training, trained the trainers, skilled interventions from the shop floor to the highest levels of corporate engagement for MX, WNX, EXL Services, Fidelity Investments, British Airways, Jindal Corp, Birla Enterprise, Lehman Brothers, Tech Mahindra, Peach Communication, Carriger Services. In 2009, as a consultant with IBM Gurgaon, he introduced on-phone training and mentoring for the first time in India. Engaged with all the stakeholders at the highest level, he helped modernize the training delivery systems for 10,000 employees. He has created AR's English certification system as an on-phone IVR-based testing and certification tool, which is now available in the market. He recently completed a doctorate in teaching Kathakali acting to contemporary actors in Australia from Flinders University, Adelaide, South Australia. As an acting and voice teacher, he has worked to create some of the India's leading actors like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Adil Hussain, Paritosh Sand, Ashish Vidyarthi, Zakir Hussain, Rajesh Telang, Anup Soni, Ashutosh Rana, Kumud Mishra, Mukesh Tiwari, Yashpal Sharma, Atul Kulkarni, Swanand Kirkire, Gitanjali Sherikar, Jaya Shawl, Meghna Malik, Rajpal Singh Yadav, to name a few. So he's a voice, acting, a business communication coach, a playwright, a performer, a Kathakali dancer, and an actor. And we welcome Dr. Arjun Raina to Power the Voice. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in.
Thank you. I think the connection is not secure. So carry on. Yeah.
No worries, sir. So, sir, the stage is yours. The mic is yours. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Um, I'm not sure what you want me to speak on.
So, sir, how we will be navigating through this podcast is what is your timeline as a child, as a boy who was there in college, school, universities, and the timeline of voice, the timeline of music, the timeline of acting and drama in your life, and we will combine both these timelines together to form a beautiful experience for the listeners who are there. So,
All right. Well, I've been always wanting to be an actor, even from the age of 2 or 3 years old.
mhm,
I think acting was my way of relating with the world,
sure, sir.
and I I would always perform wherever I got a chance. I,
Mhm. So, how it makes you feel when you act, like when you were young, and when was the first time you became aware that you
this
want to
is
be an actor?
sorry.
So when was the first time when you were young, you felt this dream, this aspiration to become an actor?
Yeah, as I'm saying, when I was 3 or 4 years old, I acted in a nursery play, and
Mhm.
I was Prince Charming, and I had to kiss the princess,
Oh,
Sleeping
wonderful.
Beauty, and I enjoyed doing it. And since then, I was always loved wearing a costume and performing for an audience.
Beautiful. And so how it makes you feel when you're performing for the audiences who are there?
School play, school play, and I had the role of a cruel headmaster. And Shah Rukh Khan had a very small role in it,
Oh, wonderful.
um, and I loved it. And I knew that this is going to be my path. Then in university, college, I did plays, basically English drama, English at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art.
Hmm.
And from then on, I've been a professional actor, trainer, teacher. And what drama school does for you is it confirms to you that bhai, this is your life, this is your world, these are your actors, these are your directors, these are your actresses, and that's what they do. So I came back, and I for a year I tried to be a hero in Bombay, but I wasn't happy. So I came back to Delhi and started learning Kathakali, which is a Kerala art form, and also teaching at the National School of Drama.
Mm-hmm.
The School of Drama, there were all these young student actors. It was a wonderful community, and we were also six, seven of us, five, six of us, very passionate teachers. So at least for 6, 7 years, I taught there, and all these teachers together, and we created a whole generation of very fine actors and directors. And then in the late 1990s, the BPO industry began, and
Mm-hmm.
they needed a voice and accent coach, voice
Mm-hmm.
trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I became the first trainer to train in GE Capital.
Wow.
And I trained next to the kitchen, started voice and accent next to the kitchen, and then went on to train the 125 trainers, or and then became the full-on industrial trainer. So that's the journey.
Wow, sir. Beautiful. So, sir,
Okay.
what what do you want to share with the listeners? Like, where are you going now? What is the awareness you want to create? What do you think is the change which has happened since then and now in training, in coaching, in acting, in dramatics? What has changed in NST? What has changed in movies? What has changed in acting? What are the old schools and the new schools of theater and all? Anything that you feel like sharing, sir?
Yeah, I'm not very sure what is happening in many places, but of course, the big change is technology has come in,
Mm-hmm.
and social media has come in, and tech. So when the more technology comes in, the more the older crafts, you see,
Yes, sir.
they get left behind. So storytelling is a very old craft. It's as old as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You sit around a fire and you tell of stories. You tell of what the day has happened in the day. You tell of your ancestors, what has gone behind. You look up at the stars and you tell stories of the universe. And all it needs is a fire, a listener, and a speaker. So this old way of doing things and the old way of relating, that is being replaced by quick, fast technology cuts and things. So that also has a power. So that's in terms of voice and storytelling and community. Earlier stories would last for one whole night or 5 nights. So now it's 1 hour, half an hour.
Mm.
These pressures will always be there between what is new and what is old. And you have to find your own balance. So in terms of just corporate training, for example, when we were fighting to speak with a genuine, authentic Indian accent,
Mm-hmm.
not a fake American accent,
Mm-hmm.
not a fake persona, but a genuine persona. So that journey has to go further, where you are yourself and you are deepening your own self. What is yourself? What are your emotions? What are your feelings? And what are your thoughts? What's your being? All that you are bringing to your communication. You're bringing to the work. Uh, so the best, a good communicator is somebody who brings his whole being, his whole presence, not just you know just neck up, or he has learned some style or something. So that's what I can offer. So
Wonderful.
I'm hoping myself to mentor people and offer them any of my various skills and experience and training. The simplest thing is to be yourself. So when you're saying, I'm 60 years old, at 60-year-old, what is yourself? What is your body? What is your feeling? At 20, what is yourself? What is your body? What are your ambitions? What are your thoughts? So that's all. So I'm there as a senior coach, senior mentor to help people along.
So, do you feel that there is a dearth of awareness of voice coaching in India per se?
Yes, voice coaching. There's a big industry now,
Hmm.
but it is at a surface level. The depth has not been explored, and voice coaching needs to get enriched a lot more. Um, you see, through the colonial process, your voice was taken away from you.
Yes,
You
sir.
were not allowed. You're censored, or you're forced. There's a difference between. So now you are recovering your languages. You're recovering your strengths, your emotions, your feelings. The voice is not just a technical thing. Voice is a deep part of your whole being. So to to have coaches that understand the depth of that, that is not present. There are countries like in England, for example, voice is a tradition that has been there for 400 years.
Hmm.
So they had that tradition. Like in India, dance has a very long tradition. So dance is very powerful, has recovered very powerfully. So voice is not quite understood in India.
Mm. And so, what do you think is the why behind
The why behind?
that? It's a lack of awareness which is there in India with regard to the voice. What do you think is the why? Why that lack is there?
Because historically your voice was not important. You
Mm.
see, voice of a people, the voice was only of kings and emperors and rulers.
Oh, beautiful.
Voice of a people, once you want that, then all kinds of skills get embedded to bring that voice out.
Mm.
There are all kinds of institutions and cultures to bring out, to have every person has a voice.
Mm.
When you don't have that, then you have only elite sort of systems. Uh, Now in India, what voice coaching came through corporate, through the call
Mhm.
center industry. That
Mhm.
brought
Yeah.
voice coaching in a big way because international communication, voice was needed for international communication. And that's really not voice. It was
It's
speech
accent.
training,
It's
accent
more
training.
of accent, yeah.
Yeah. So why should anybody now see if you look at a dance form like Kathakali,
Yes, sir.
that the actor does not even speak
Mm.
because you are becoming gods. Gods don't speak. Gods, just gesture
Oh,
and
wow. Oh.
or so it is only when you are becoming people that you. I'm just giving a very vast idea of why India has doesn't have
That's
a good
beautiful, sir.
voice.
That is giving a lot of awareness to the listeners, sir. Thank you for sharing that. It's
So
an
that's what you have to
honor and
respect
privilege to
yourself as a
listen to you,
person.
sir. It's always an
Anji,
absolute honor and privilege to listen to you.
that's all right. Thank you. So you have to respect yourself, your body, your being, your emotions, and then your voice will emerge from that
Mm.
love and respect of each person.
So when you got connected to NSD, I am
Yeah.
especially more interested in becoming aware as to what is the syllabus like, what are the acting techniques and all, and is there some kind of a flavor which has come from the European side, from Stanislavski, Meissner, Stadler, Strasbourg, and other schools of thoughts with regard to that, or something that originated in India also?
No, in India, the voice training is very closely linked to singing, to song
Hmm.
training.
Hmm.
So, for example, uh, Karanji, who was so folk theater,
Mm-hmm.
singing in
Mm-hmm.
folk theater, chanting in folk theater,
Mm-hmm.
in Parsi theater, the kind of rhymed couplets in Urdu. So these are all formal ways of using the voice, not personalized, not individual ways of finding your own individual voice. Um, so in India, all the formalized ways of using your voice existed, and they would be trained at NSD. The individual way of training really comes from the English tradition. As
Mm-hmm.
I said, take English, शेक्सपियर के जमाने से 500 साल से English textual and voice tradition was very strong. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, people like Grotowski found ways to break all barriers in the voice, in the body. After all, your वाचक जो चक्र है,
जी सर.
गले का जो एक चक्र है, उसको बिल्कुल मुक्त करना, उसको
विशुद्धि.
आजाद करना, उसको सारे अपने शरीर की आदतें, हैबिट्स, डर, भय, सबको दूर करना
Mm.
और अपने आप को एकदम मुक्त करना, शरीर को भी, आत्मा को भी, आवाज को भी। वो काम ग्रोटोस्की जैसे उन लोगों ने किया। जो स्टैनिस्लावस्की है, माइसनर है, ये ट्रेडिशन है, they are more to do with action, stage action. Their impulses for voice and text are not as strong
Mm-hmm.
as for realistic, naturalistic action
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
how to link emotion with action.
So, what is the transition,
Those are different.
or what is the difference if you want to share with the listeners with regard to the teachings of Kutovsky and Stanislavski, if you would like to highlight a bit on that?
I'm not an expert on that, but Stanislavski and Grotowski, I think, was influenced by Stanislavski,
Mm-hmm.
but Stanislavski stays within naturalism and realism of drama. That means in a Stanislavski stage, you will see an actor come into a room, and he will be coming into a room. He'll be sitting down. He'll be speaking to somebody. You will be able to recognize all these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this was realism, but at a very profound level, because and that is what the Stanislavski tradition. In Grotowski, it was the breaking of the body, all the habits of the body that a family recognizes as me as Vicky, you as Vicky, and me as Arjun. Through a series of body habits, recognizing emotionally, physically, this is Arjun. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Stanislavski went to the core of what you are, Grotowski, by breaking all your habits of the self and the traps in which you are, to find new energy, to find new way to be. And that in the simplest way is the difference. Stanislavski was not necessarily, he was trying to, his objective was to bring the actor on the threshold of the subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
of चेतन की दहलीज पर कैसे एक एक्टर जी सकता है, एंड वहां से उसकी सारी क्रिएटिविटी आए. तो ग्रोटोव्स्की goes deeper into the subconscious, goes deeper into that दहलीज. लेकिन
Mm-hmm.
दोनों का यही मकसद था, परफॉर्मर एक्टर कैसे ऐसे स्थान पे आ जाए, ऐसी जगह आ जाए जहां वो कॉन्स्टेंटली सबकॉन्शियस के द्वार पर हो, यू नो.
Yes, sir. So, this
If you are too full of
question, yes, sir.
conscious inhibitions, if you're too full of conscious inhibitions, you won't even begin to let go of who you are. You will not
Mm,
be able to transform at all,
mm,
become the
mm,
character.
Beautiful.
You
Beautiful.
That is why you have to begin to let go consciously of who you are. And but if you enter your subconscious, you will be a dharmatma, you will be a yogi, mystic. You will
Mm,
not be an actor. So an
mm,
actor has to be on the edge of his subconscious, on the threshold.
Wow. So, are there any like evidences where some psychedelic substances were used to enhance the actors coming on the edge of the subconscious? Because I used to be a rock star, so we used to consume certain substances to open the subconscious in the conscious level. So are there any evidences, or has any actors tried something on those lines? Like, because so you have been training so many actors, so I just wanted to understand your perspective.
In India, so problem is to stay at the threshold. To enter the sub, a lot of traditional performers have bhang, have
Mhm,
charas,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
have alcohol, and that
mhm.
sends you into the state because
Wow.
each individual is different.
And when you were
So,
doing your acting training and all,
but it is to
were you also using any substances? Have you ever tried?
no, no. I've tried, but not for acting.
Okay.
I, 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 I was a very stable, sober acting person.
Oh, beautiful,
I've tried for my own pleasure or my own joy,
beautiful.
but and as an acting responsible acting teacher, there are also big dangers. The
Mhm,
moment you are playing with these things, they can
mhm,
also be. What you are trying to do when you are a serious acting teacher or a serious actor is to create a method that lasts you for your life. है ना?
mhm, mhm,
It's not कि एक शाम मस्ती आ जाए या दो शाम 10 शाम मस्ती आ जाए.
mm.
वो रस कैसे आए जो सारी जिंदगी चले.
Beautiful.
बुढ़ापे में अगर आपने जवानी में दबा के पी लिया, दम लगा लिया और चीजें कर ली, which is what happens with Jim Morrison, a lot rock stars and things, that there is a flash of brilliance, but after that it doesn't last very long.
Mm. Yes.
Often actors mature when they are 30, 40, 50, 60.
So, whom do you consider stalwart of the Indian cinema for you? Whom do you consider
But actors,
with regard to acting and all? The person who, like, you saw on screen and you were like, this is an actor. This is what I want to be. Who inspired you?
it's quite simple. Nasiruddin Shah, I think, has been not just on screen. I saw him even rehearsing a play by Beckett, Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
outside the NCPA theater, just on the street like that. They were rehearsing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he was so brilliant. He's actually so brilliant on stage, and he is smoking pot all the time. So so my theory can be wrong because uh, he is extraordinary. So that's one example.
So I whenever I
Yeah,
see Nawazuddin Siddiqui, because you have mentioned his name in you have trained him. So
yeah.
what is special about him? Why is he able to become like water in every role which is given to him? What is his process like?
No, he was. If I remember him, he was a very calm person. There's a very calm interior,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a very important aspect for a actor because it's that calm person, the calmness inside that then allows the transformation that
Mm-hmm.
gets various colors. If at the center of you there is noise, then that noise will always show.
Mm.
So he
Beautiful.
was very calm, and he has also grown. Drama school, I trained him 2 or 3 years. Drama school, there were other teachers also taught him. There were other influences. Then he went through life. He struggled, and he has emerged. So there is a natural, and then there is also a time. Suddenly there is this time. The heroes. There's a need for an ordinary, non-good-looking person to suddenly, become a star. So he is
Mm.
fit into many spaces. There are many other actors who are there who are also as good and who are also very talented. So you can't say one thing what was very. The only thing I can say was, which I think nobody else will say, is that he was very calm. Inside of him,
Hmm.
he has a stillness, he has a calmness.
And have you seen a similarity in other actors like Naseeruddin Shah, or one of my personal favorite? I still miss him. Late Irfan Khan Saab, or Padesh Rawal for that matter, or like all these great actors who are there, Nana Patekar and all. Is there some inner calmness which actually helps them in the craft of acting, sir?
Yeah, there has to be the calmness can come out after work and confidence,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be a natural, ability. But as I say, when the actor is still, then the character moves. So that stillness of the actor may come as a natural part of you, or it may come through sangharsh and through. Uh, on the other thing is you can't really compare because you asked, I answered. But in principle, we never compare one actor with another
Mm-hmm.
because an actor is on no two actors are going to play the same role for you to
Mm.
be able to compare. That
Exactly.
happens in some theater traditions, like in a repertory where two actors are playing the same role, then you can compare. So
Mm-hmm.
each actor plays the role that comes to him, fits him or her, and therefore what you can say is this actor using tricks? Or is this actor having habits, because bad habits? Or is this actor, over dramatizing or stuck in a certain
Mm-hmm.
way of being or a way of, you can see those things. But is this actor better than that actor? That is for film awards. That's not for a coach, not for serious craftsperson.
Mm.
All you look is this actor going to play this character? Who will play that character? Who will play
Mm.
that character?
Mm.
Who is the best to play this role, that role? That's what you are engaged with all the time.
So, what are some of the actors that you're following nowadays that you think that, yeah, these are the people, because you are coming from that background where you're training stalwarts and all. So many of the actors who are there nowadays, which you feel that they have that acting craft deep within them. Any two, three people that you would like to name?
A lot of these, like I asked Adil Hussain,
Yes, sir.
I said, Adil, this Alia Bhatt is so good, you know, how is it that without training or anything, and then what's the point of all of us working so hard, so
Beautiful,
many years
beautiful.
training?
So this thought was there in
And
my head also. Wow, I love it.
uh, so he very correctly pointed out, he said she's all right, she's good for 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, but
Uh-huh.
not for the whole lifetime.
Okay.
So that's the difference between a Nasiruddin Shah or a Nana Patekar that you have. But the younger generation, the other very interesting thing which Nasiruddin Shah said once,
Mm-hmm.
he said when we had to face a camera, even as a tourist or taking a photo, because a camera was such a unique, special thing. The moment we saw a camera, we'd pose. You know, it was a very alien thing. It was
Okay.
very strange. He
Mm-hmm.
says in today's generation, because everybody is so used to camera, so used to selfies, so used to phones, that the self-consciousness about facing a camera has gone.
Oh, wow.
If there is no self-consciousness about facing a camera, then almost anybody can become a good actor as long as
Mm-hmm.
the role is demanding of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a whole generation now, and that's who are all very good actors. A lot of stage actors. Um, you know, I can't remember the names, but
Mm-hmm.
I saw that some 1989 Taj Mahal, which are these Netflix,
Yes.
and a lot of them are very, very fine. So a whole generation of very good actors. And all these films where, the Nina Gupta and her
Mm-hmm.
husband, who was her husband?
So he was
Rao,
Badhai Ho also. Badhai Ho.
yeah, Badayo.
He's a fine
So
actor.
yeah, all of them are very good actors now.
Yes, sir. And you saw, yeah, I have seen this, sir, because you have already worked with all these people, you are already aware. But being a cinephile, sir, you we become aware that this person is a theater actor or this person is not a theater actor. What is that difference, sir? What is that click that happens?
No, a good theater actor should become a good film actor.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason why. But the obvious reason is the size of gesture, the size of voice, and the continuity of action. You
Mm-hmm.
see? So you are used to, and the certain self consciousness. But I don't believe that a good actor, fact is that a camera comes so close, if you're a bad actor, it'll be clearly visible. But on
Oh.
stage also, the actor, so there is no difference. Actually, a bad actor on film is a bad actor on stage. A
Mm-hmm.
good actor on film will be, of course, on stage also. Stage is is from play to play. There may be a play that in a very small room that is asking you to be very quiet, or there may be a play in an open air theater with 1,000 people that is asking you to make big gestures, big voice. So each of these has its own truth.
Mm-hmm.
The truth of a big 1,000 seater auditorium and a performance in it has its own truth. The truth of a small studio, very nice acoustics, very realistic drama has its own truth. The truth of a realistic art film has its own. Truth of a Hollywood film has its own. So Shah Rukh Khan has its own style and truth, and Ranbir Kapoor, I imagine, has his own style and truth. But the question is, how long do you last, and
Mm.
how much joy you yourself get out of it?
So, sir,
And
when Adil sir told you that Alia Bhatt won't be lasting long, what do you think is the why behind it?
he was not saying Alia Bhatt alone. He was saying a young, starry actor,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have what happens when you are skilled and trained, then through different phases of life, it helps you negotiate that change in phase. For example, when your looks go down, for
Mm-hmm.
example, when you become fatter, or for example, when your voice starts fading, for example, when your emotions get jangled up, when grief comes to you, जब दुख आता है जिंदगी में, जब दर्द आता है जिंदगी में, तो वो सारा अभिनेता को बदलता है.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
हर फेज में के बाद, तो आलिया भट्ट इज एज एन एग्जांपल of a young star, is has a phase that will last 6, 7 years, 8 years. After that, her body will change, her mind will change, her emotions will change. Then she needs skill, and then she needs training to overcome that and
Mm-hmm.
enter a new space.
Mm-hmm. So, do you believe that
So
actors
that,
are born and they can't be trained, or do you believe that anyone can be trained to be an actor?
yes, everybody can be trained to have a presence on stage.
Mm-hmm.
By presence on stage, it means that the moment you come on stage, the audience wants to look at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
After that, how well you act the role that you're given is another matter.
Mm-hmm.
But this act of making somebody get a presence, you have a presence that the audience will look at you, this is a skill, this is a training process.
Mm.
So I can immediately see somebody who's not trained and who doesn't have a presence. And
Oh. So your voice is not coming.
Yeah, sorry. Hello.
Yes, sir. Your voice was not coming, sir.
Yeah, I got disconnected.
No worries, sir.
All right. Shall we wrap up now?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sir, would you like to do a part two because we were just in middle of something?
No, this is enough, यार. How much?
Okay,
कितना मैं
sure.
खोलूंगा?
But thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming.
No, no worries. Take care. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir.